you are invited to join a committee or co-author another paper or speak at the workshop, all in the same week. And which one of those do you say yes to? So if you honestly answer like all of them, because I don't know how to say no, I think maybe we should sit down together and discuss your academic career for a few minutes. Because that instinct that one feels responsible or maybe a good colleague or it somehow feels safe, this instinct is kind of a quietly building the exact career in academia and research in science that you just don't want. So here's the idea. I talk about a lot, like when I coach or when I speak, when I have my mastermind groups. There's this mental model that I've come up with to explain academic careers. I think that every opportunity you are offered, it's either an investment or a liability. People just don't usually maybe look at it like that. And maybe they don't also recognize that investments are those that compound. So they grow your work, they grow your reputation, your options for years after you say yes. Because liabilities, on the other hand, they do the opposite. So they drain your time, your energy, your best hours, and give almost nothing back. So I think that most unhappy academics, I know, they aren't lazy for sure, and they aren't, it's not like they are untalented. They're just holding a portfolio full of liabilities they mistook for opportunities. And today, let's fix this together. I'll be honest about why this happens. I think there are three major traps, and I guarantee you've probably fallen into at least one of them in this month, and probably that's completely normal. I did too. The first one is fear of missing out, or FOMO. So what if this leads to something big? And here's the reality: most opportunities lead nowhere. Not because you did anything wrong, but because most opportunities are statistically ordinary stuff. So academics with the careers you admire, they are not the ones who did everything. They're the ones who did the right things, and they said no to everything else on purpose. Trap number 2, scarcity thinking. So everyone else is doing it, I might never get asked again, I need to prove myself. And this is the mindset of someone who believes opportunities are rare and precious, so everyone must be seized. But saying yes to everything doesn't actually signal ambition, at least not in my opinion. It signals that you have no priorities, no plan, no, vision actually. So selective yeses are actually kind of they read as strategic. And the calendar with white spaces in it doesn't look lazy to people who matter. It actually looks like someone who knows what they are doing. And the third trap is, of course, a big one, a guilt. So you can't actually afford to say no, or they need me, or I owe them. So, guilt feelings, it's like a moral compass or something, but it's not. It's just discomfort. So discomfort, it's not a decision-making framework or a tool. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And in academia, honestly, nobody will come to refill yours for you. So here's a simple math that probably people don't tell you in PhD school, so to say. If you say yes to 10 things, you're doing each one at roughly 10% capacity. And if you say yes to 3 things, you're operating at over 30% each. And then which version of you is the one who writes papers that actually gets cited, and which version gets tenure? So with that, I think we can move to discussing what actually makes something an investment. So how do you actually tell the difference? In a moment, it's simple, because you need to recognize it fast before you've actually said yes, right? So I think there But at least for me, it really works to check these 5 traits that all investments share. The first one is they compound. This is a really basic knowledge. So learning a new methodology, for example, that isn't one-off cost, or a skill, like this is actually the skill that you can use for the next 20 years. Or writing, this is a genuinely good thing. Writing a review paper, for example, or writing a script for your students. This becomes a resource that maybe your whole subfield will cite from a decade. And mentoring right students, well, that's something that is also a lifelong collaboration. It can become a lifelong collaboration, and they can become your advocates of your work. The second one, they align with your actual research vision. I hope you have one. So it's not something that just looks good or impressive in your CV, but they actually do align with what you're up to in the long run. The third one, they energize you. I know this might sound weird, but I totally go with that. It needs to be a thing that you're not gritting your teeth. So you're a little excited or even nervous about it, and you feel good about it in a good way. The fourth one, they have clear boundaries. So they have a defined scope, real end date, and a commitment that you can meet without kind of cannibalizing everything else. And the fifth one, they evolve people you trust, and they evolve also you as a person. So collaborators who make the work better, not people that you have to kind of manage around. Liabilities, on the other hand, are like mirror image traits, right? So they take your time, they build nothing lasting, committees that produce nothing, reviewing for a journal that you don't even respect, a quick favor that quietly becomes a 6-month project with no clear end, or collaborators who are unreliable, or worse, that take credit for your efforts. And critically, liabilities compromise your values, and somehow you dread them. And this dread is data. Don't ignore that. Now, to be very honest with you, probably there's no point in me pretending otherwise, or I would just be very naive. There are, of course, some liabilities that are unavoidable. So there's a required service, a committee you need for a tenure, a short-term political necessity. That's real. And I'm not telling you to torch your career by refusing all of it. What I'm saying is that first name it. So, say to yourself, I hate this committee, but I need to be there as, a colleague before my tenure case. And I will serve for 2 years, contribute competently but minimally, and then rotate off. And in the meantime, I'll use the room to build relationships with the senior faculty who can actually help me later. And that's not caving. That's called actually treating a liability strategically instead of pretending it's an investment, which we so oftentimes do. And there's a real difference between the two, and I think it's really important to call it what it is. Now, I came up with this Four-Quadrant Decision Matrix that was inspired by Liabilities and Assets explanation in a book that I got from my old friend really long time ago. And I somehow adopted it for our academic setup. And I think it's actually quite a useful decision tool. I share it inside of the groups that I'm part of all the time. And let me quickly explain it to you. So you have quadrant 1, where you have high investments in academia, but also high feasibility. So these are grants that fit your program well, collaborations with someone you already trust, or you already work that you are excited about, or maybe an invited lecture or talk in your actual area, or at the venue that matters to you. And these are totally assets, right? Immediately. Then you have quadrant 2. You have high investment but low feasibility. So it's like a dream collaboration you just don't have time for right now, or it's that perfect grant with a deadline that it's simply too soon. These are usually no's or not yet's. You keep them on the radar, you build toward the capacity to say yes later, but I'll explain how to decide later on, more in depth again. Then you have quadrant 3. You have those low investments and high visibility. This is a quick peer review, a guest lecture for colleagues' class, easy low stakes, low return. It's a kind of filler, right? Not priority. So you might say yes only if you genuinely have this excess capacity. So you never let those crowd out your quadrant 1. And then quadrant 4, low investment, low visibility. These are committees that meet weekly with no clear purpose, or co-authorship where you'd quietly just do all the work for middle authorship. These are no. So politely but firmly, you just go and say no. And before you answer anything, you could also ask yourself, you can try to put the question inside of these quadrants, but you can also then run 5 questions. Will this compound, or is it a one and done thing? Does it move me toward my actual long-term goals? Will it energize me, or will it deplete me? Can I do this well without sacrificing my real priorities? And are the people actually there, those that I will work with, great people? Do I want to work with them? So if you have 5 yeses, clearly quadrant 1, do it. And then 3 to 4, probably you should evaluate carefully. It's maybe probably quadrant 2 or 3. And then 0 to 1 or 2, that's your answer, decline. So maybe with all of this information now in place, I can say one more thing about how to approach your portfolio as an academic who cares about long-term career in academia, with the goal to be a great researcher and a super successful scientist. So I think you should probably treat your time and your energy the way that a good investor thinks about their portfolio of investments. So diversified, intentional, and you need to review regularly. So it's never reactive, right? Now at this point, you might want me to spell out exactly what usually assets look like, right? So I'll attempt to do that. And we will create 4 boxes for them. The first one are research assets, direct research assets. These are well-designed data sets, tools, code bases that you can actually build once and then reuse across multiple papers. Methodology or technique you master early and then it keeps paying off for a decade, for example. A great paper, it might be a review or synthesis paper in your subfield that will actually get cited long after the original research papers will fade out. And then grant writing skill itself, so not just individual grants. Every proposal you write makes the next one faster and stronger. This is so true. And then, of course, there is a big bracket where you need to look into, which is relationships and your reputation. So here you have mentoring a strong student or a postdoc well, they become a long-term collaborator, advocate, or eventually a node in your network. Then deep collaboration with people, those that complement you. So not just big names, co-authors, but actually people that you work well with. And also being known for one clear thing, a go-to person, reputation compounds. So being vaguely competent in everything doesn't actually, develop relationships well. And then, of course, genuine relationships with a few senior people who will vouch for you at the tenure, promotion, or award time, and they will actually fight for you even in the rooms that you're not in. And then the third big one is skills that you can transfer. So statistical, computational methods that you can apply across multiple projects, not just one paper. Writing, communication skills, every paper rant and talk gets easier. Teaching a course that you can keep improving and reusing rather than one-off guest lecture. Structural, positional investments, building a lab or a research group, and this is actually the last big box. So identifying what outlives one single grant cycle. Editorial or leadership roles that are selective, and if you are lucky, prestige building. So this is versus service roles that are just pure labor. A well curated public research profile like websites, talks, preprints that keeps generating inbound opportunities. And there's a common thread to that: an investment produces something that still exists and still works for a long time after the task itself actually finished. So it's usually a skill, an asset, a relationship, a reputation. And liabilities produce effort that evaporates the moment the task ends. So now I think that maybe we should also talk numbers. I think a healthy academic allocates, it depends on stage you're in, but I'd say at least 60% you need to focus on core investments. So your primary research program, key publications, grants, and teaching and mentoring that actually matters to your trajectory. And then maybe 20%, I'd say, for growth and investments, new skills, new methodologies, exploratory projects, networking that might not pay off for years, but actually plants the right seeds. And then let's say 15% for strategic liabilities that required services, the political necessities, the handled deliberately, with the exit plan already in mind. And then 5% is for serendipity, wildcards, fun side projects, low stakes experiments that actually, occasionally turn into the best thing you ever did. And I propose once a quarter, genuinely put it in your calendar, do the portfolio audit, list everything you are currently committed to, categorize, honestly, what are your core investments, growth investments, strategic liabilities, serendipities. And you can also be honest here and also mark the mistakes. And liabilities you shouldn't have taken in the first place are very common, but the difference between the successful and happy academics and those that are a little less successful and less happy is that the first one actually recognizes them, the first group recognizes them, and then actually corrects that mistakes. So you look at the imbalances, and if core investments are under half of your time, you are spread too thin to do your best work. If growth is at zero, you are not building the skills that will matter in 5 years, you're just maintaining. And if strategic liabilities are creeping past a quarter of your time or even more, be honest with yourself. You're not being this is not being good to your colleagues, it's being exploited. So the goal was never to eliminate liabilities altogether. Nobody probably manages that. The goal is to intentionally allocate instead of, just react to them, and then choose your portfolio instead of just absorb whatever lands in your inbox or on your desk. So I think that unhappy academics have a few things in common more often than not, and it's rarely that they are doing too little. It's just that too much of what they are doing was never gonna to compound into anything, and they mistake somehow this busyness for progress and obligations for real opportunities. And now that you have the tools and the explanation, go, stop doing that. And before you say yes to anything this week, maybe run it through these 5 questions I've told you about, and maybe place it in the quadrant, the appropriate quadrant, and then be honest. Ask, does this belong in my portfolio, or am I about to add a liability, another liability I'll be exit planning around a year from now? Let's repeat our actions items. I need that as well. First one, do a real audit. of everything you're currently committed to. Second one, identify one liability, just one, that you are ready to exit gracefully. The third one, identify one real investment you've been avoiding out of fear, or just usually say lack of time, but it's fear. The fourth one, the next time an opportunity lands in your inbox, run the metrics before you reply. So your time is the only true finite resource you have in your academic career. Are you aware of that? Everything else, funding, publications, even reputation, can be rebuilt, but you will never get back your energy and your time. So invest like it matters, because it does.